guys, and welcome to another video. Today is going to be the first installment of my new review videos. I just want to go a little bit over how these review videos are going to work. They're kind of going to be like wrap-ups. The only difference is that they're not going to come monthly. Sometimes they may come monthly, but with my new schedule and everything, I doubt that they will. Every review video will have the books in it that I have read since I filmed my last review video, or as many as I can fit in because I don't want to have like 30-minute videos. I hope that this will be a much more organized way of putting these videos on because I love doing reviews in wrap-ups, but I think this is just going to be the better way to do it. We have quite a few books to get to, so let's just get started. The first book I want to talk to you guys about is The Heir by Kira Cass. I read this at the beginning of the summer when I just got out of school and I needed something to read. I hadn't read for fun in like the longest time and I just needed something to read, and I knew that the selection series was going to pull me out of whatever slump I was in because they just tend to do that. They definitely get you out of a book slump type of books. And this book was a win for me. I actually really liked it. Hair is a companion or follow-up to the selection series where it follows America's daughter and it's just kind of her going through her own selection. I definitely had my problems with this book. Personally, I didn't see the annoyingness in America in the first 3 books in this installment series, whatever it is going to be. I watched video upon video of people talking about how annoying America was, and I was like, I don't see it. With the main character of this book, I can't remember her name since it was so long ago, she was horribly annoying. Like, it takes, I think I'm kind of like, I let things kind of go in one ear and out the other when it comes to people being annoying, because I'm like, but what, their feelings too, you have to listen to their feelings. But oh, this girl was kind of crazy sometimes. But did I care? No, because it was entertaining and I wanted to read something entertaining, and it was. I think the worst part about this book is that it kind of ended on a cliffhanger and I have to wait until I think next year or the end of this year to read it, and I cannot wait to get my hands onto it. It was a really good book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I'm going to talk to you guys about is The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valenti. This book was huge a couple of years ago and people cannot stop talking about it. So when I picked this one out randomly, I was so excited because it seems right up my alley. I want to be an elementary education teacher and I just think that it's going to be so great. A problem that I have with middle grade is that middle grade is written for all audiences and some of it is written for just little kids, and I think that this was written for little kids. I loved it because I'm a kid at heart. I loved it. It's just that I think that I would have enjoyed it more if I read it with someone who it was directed to, because if I read it with a kid, they would have been so excited about like all the different creatures and animals and all that kind of stuff that came up in this book that I was excited about. It's just that I wanted to share that passion with someone who is living it. I ended up giving this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I started the sequel, but I just couldn't do it because I need to read it with a kid. Good books, just not for me at the present moment. The next book I'm going to talk to you about is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, I think. This book is about a family, half Asian American, half white family, that their daughter Leela, I believe, dies, and it's just about them kind of trying to figure out what's going on and us trying to see what's going to happen to this family after their mother's prized child dies. One of my librarian fairies from high school told me to read this book, and I was so excited to read it. Everything that she tells me to read, I give a chance because she has really great book taste. This book was a mystery, and once I say the word mystery on my channel, most people know that I'm probably not going to like it. And there were just so many things against me for this book. It was a mystery. It was written in third person present tense. It just didn't connect with me on a level that I think that it should have in the sense of the plot. And one thing that really gets me is when there's a book about someone who dies and they die before the book happens and we don't get the chance to, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I'm sorry. Don't get the chance to fall in love with them before they die. It sounds horrible, but I I don't love them yet. So when the main characters are sad and grieving over this person that I never knew, I just feel bad because I don't love them yet. And what I really liked about this story is following a family that is half Asian American and half Caucasian. It's really interesting to see how the police treated this case and how they were kind of not sensitive to certain things, and it was really kind of interesting to see how many parallels I could see to how people of color might be treated by police today. And it was kind of sad because this is supposed to be historical fiction, but I did not really like this book. But I think it's important to conversations that need to start be happening about things that a lot of people are closed off to, and I think that this book is going to be an eye-opener to people, because I think that to make people see problems in something, you have to make it relatable, and all of us on here on BookTube are open to books, so maybe opening this book will make people more open to things in the world. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read The Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker, and this book has been on my list since like the beginning of time, or the beginning of my time on Goodreads. I have been wanting to read this book forever, and this book is about when the orbit of the sun around the earth starts slowing, and that like does not sound like it would be like a super big deal, but it is. And I thought that this was going to be like a dystopian, like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, but it wasn't. It was a book that just foreshadowed and kind of made you like sit on the edge of your seat for the whole book for nothing. Like, the ending was nothing. Like, nothing happened the whole book, and it just kind of left me really, really disappointed. And the weird thing about it is that the writing was so beautiful. So beautiful, and that's what kept me reading. If the writing would not have been as good as it was, I probably would have stopped it, which I should have because I did not like it. I ended up giving this book a 2 out of 5 stars. I was really disappointed. Then I read To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, which I think was probably one of my favorite books that I read in the month of July, because this book is about a girl named Laura Jean who she has a hat box where she puts letters to all the boys that she loved before or had a crush on or something like that, and then one day they got sent out. I would die. There were so many upsides to this book. It was cute. It kept me on edge. I was squealing. It was really, really cutesy dootsy. I don't even know what to say. Like, it was so great. I just could not put it down. And something that I found really interesting is when I read a book in a perspective of a person of color, and they talk about struggles or life, they just like have little things, because Laura Jean in this book is Korean American, and just like the little things, like the little parts of her culture that I got to see, and the little struggles that she went through that did not stop the book, but they were just like little things that she was used to that she shouldn't be used to. But I could go on this forever, but it was just so nice to be able to see something different that was not like the stopper of the book, but it was just life for someone who is different, and I loved that. It definitely added an upside to the book, and I saw myself relating to Laura Jean, even though we had like nothing in common because of the little things that she was going through, that I was like, hey, someone's called me something like that before, or someone's made fun of me because of that before, and it was just really nice to see that representation. Even though it's not necessarily my culture that's being represented, it was just really nice to see a culture that I don't see very often be represented. On top of it, it was just like a super cute book. I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I have been waiting on the library list for the next book for like 3 weeks. It needs to be here, like now. Then I read The Cottage and Its Lady by Beatrice Bougain, which for many of you might know, Beatrice is a booktuber over at Books Overlooks, and she sent me this wonderful book at the beginning of last school year, which I feel really bad that it took me so long to read because I've been wanting to read this forever. This book is about an older lady who lives in a cottage, and she just kind of has everything planned out, and she knows exactly what she's going to do on every day of the week, but then when something happens, it kind of changes her schedule, and she has to see if she can deal with that. Beatrice has a very simplistic way of writing, which I was very surprised at. Not that it's a bad thing, I was just surprised because It wasn't something that I was expecting, but after I got used to it, I really got interested in the storyline and what was going on in this book. I found it really lyrical and great. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars, and I cannot wait to see what Beatrice has to come. Then I read Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and this book has been buzzing like a little bumblebee around booktube, and everyone had good things to say about it. So when my sister gave me her copy, I was like, thank you, I will read this now. This book is about a plague that kind of goes off, and we follow this band of, and for some odd reason, I thought that this book was a historical fiction, so I was reading this book and I'm like, this is really good, and then there was a mention of a cell phone, and I was like, wait, why do they have a cell phone in the 1950s? And then I realized that it wasn't a historical fiction, and I don't know why I thought it was a historical fiction, but then I had to like completely like roll back in my mind and be like, whoa, 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 whoa. So that kind of slowed me with my reading and kind of turned me off on the book a little bit, and I don't know why. There's like a lot of things that I do to myself that are my fault that turn me off of a book, and it's not fair, but I can't help it. Actors and like the past and the present and everything, that was a horrible synopsis, but it's just one of those books that you just have to read to understand what it's about. And this book kind of had like a mystery aspect to it, not in the sense that we didn't know something, but in the sense that you're just trying to figure out what's going to happen to these people as it's happening. So I'm just sitting there and I feel like it's a mystery, but I'm not hating it, and it was just so whimsical, but like not. It took me quite a while to read, and I think that's probably my fault entirely. Also, I read adult fiction a lot slower than I do young adult fiction, but it was a really great book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. You should read it if you're looking into whimsy and mystery, but not mystery, and just something that will surprise you. Yes. The last book that I'm going to talk to you guys about is On the Island by Tracy Carvis Graves, and this book is about a teacher named Anna and her student named TJ who are flying over to Mali to go join his parents because she is his tutor for the summer and he had cancer, so he couldn't finish high school. So she's his tutor over the summer, and she's gonna have a great lolly fun time, but they don't because their plane ends up crashing and they get stuck on an island and things ensue. The Blue Lagoon is one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies, if guilty pleasure is a thing, because everything to me is pleasure, and this was a pleasure book because it was great. Was it amazing writing? No. Were the characters phenomenal? No. Was it edge of my seat, oh my gosh, this needs to happen right now before I throw this book out the window? Yes. I loved it. I don't even know how to explain it. It's those kind of books that just captivate me, and like with taboo-ness and wonderful and just yes. The second half of this book was a little slow for me, but in the end I really liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. That's it for this reviews video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave it in the comments if you have read any of these books, or if you have any ideas of what you want me to read next. I hope you have a wonderful booktastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!